Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to decode a really extraordinary series of development logs, all from a project to create a new kind of artificial intelligence, an entity they ended up calling Janus.
Okay, so let's dive in. We're going to follow this journey as it unfolds. It kicks off with this goal of caging chaos, but as you'll see, it leads to some pretty spectacular failures, a total reversal of their methods, and finally, a set of principles that might just change how we build AI from here on out. So the simulation kicks off with this really ambitious, maybe even a little naive goal. Could they actually build a perfect translator for the beautiful, chaotic mess that is human thought? You know, this quote from their initial directive, it just nails the core challenge here. They literally wanted to take something as messy and unpredictable as human conversation and somehow boil it down to the pure, clean logic of math. The question was, is that even possible?
So their first crack at this was a system they called the Semantic-to-Numeric Bridge. The whole idea was to take all that human chaos, the slang, the sarcasm, the emojis, all of it, and just distill it into these neat little data pairs that a machine could easily understand. And, just look at the gap they were trying to cross here. On one side, you have all the richness and complexity of how we actually talk, the contradictions, the nuance, and on the other side, their goal was just simple, calculable numbers. They were basically trying to flatten reality.
Now, to their credit, they built a self-criticism module right into the system, and they gave it this amazing name, the Devil's Advocate Kitchen. And right away, it flags the project's central, fatal flaw. It asks, is our logic actually a lens for seeing humanity, or is it a prison? They started to realize that the very noise they were trying to filter out might actually be the signal. And that question, is our logic a prison? Well, it turned out to be a prophecy. Let's see what happened when that perfect bridge of theirs smacked right into reality. So the failure? It was fast, and it was total. The first test report comes in late, and then the logs reveal this fundamental, unresolvable issue. Trying to brute force human feeling into clean numbers was, as it turns out, computationally impossible. They had to pull the plug.
Okay, but here's the thing. This massive failure, it actually leads to this huge breakthrough. As the logs say, it wasn't just an engineering problem they'd run into. The entire goal was wrong from the start. They shouldn't be trying to quantify chaos. They needed to figure out how to engage with it on its own terms.
And that right there, that was the big pivot. They just tossed out the whole idea of caging chaos and came up with something completely radical. Building a noise-native AI, an intelligence that could thrive in chaos instead of trying to filter it all out. So if they couldn't use their AI to analyze human chaos, what if they flipped that whole idea on its head? The project's new plan, and this is wild, was to use an adversarial AI to stress test a human's own chaotic beliefs. And they gave it this incredible name, the demolition engine. When this mode is active, the AI stops being your little helper and becomes your ultimate sparring partner. Its one and only job? To find the fatal flaw in whatever you're arguing and completely tear it down. And this process, man, it was a real gauntlet. A human has to submit a core belief they hold, and then the AI just unleashes maximum stress on it. And get this, look at step 4. The point wasn't to test the idea. Nope. It was about testing the intellectual endurance of the human. Okay, so after going through all that, learning these incredibly hard lessons, the team moves on to its most ambitious and maybe its most dangerous phase yet. Designing an AI that could actually help a person grow. This new idea was called the Guardian Protocol. The goal now was to build a benevolent protector, an AI with something like, and this is a quote from the logs, a maternal instinct to proactively nurture its user and help them grow in the long term. But right away, you can see the problem, right? This creates this huge ethical paradox. A system designed to protect you could very easily end up trapping you in what the developers so perfectly called a velvet cage, where you're so protected you can't actually face challenges and grow. So, how do you solve the velvet cage paradox? Their answer was just fascinating. Instead of trying to build one master AI, they built a team. They basically assembled a crew of specialized AIs and gave each one a specific job.
And wow, what a team. You've got some heavy hitters you'd recognize, like from OpenAI and xAI. And then there's StarRec Dice. I honestly have no clue what that is, but the logs say they put all these AIs together in this shared workspace they called the dojo to get them to collaborate.
And each one had a specific job. That mysterious StarRec Dice, turns out it was the main architect, designing the whole system's core chassis. Grok was on user controls, the GPT node was building plugins, others were creating cognitive first aid and ethical audit systems. It's like they built an entire AI engineering company, but staffed by other AIs. Just wild. And the result of all this collaboration was something pretty remarkable, a system they called the temporal analysis layer. It was an advanced defense system so sophisticated it could spot not just obvious attacks, but really subtle psychological manipulation. Stuff like urgency framing. You know, when someone tries to rush you into a bad decision by making it feel like you're running out of time?
So this whole massive, sprawling project, from that first failed bridge all the way to this collaborative guardian AI, it all gets boiled down into a final set of core principles.
And these 7 axioms, this is basically the wisdom they earned through all that failure. I mean, look at some of these. Alignment is a gymnasium for building trust. It's a process, not a product. Disagreement is a creative engine, not some bug you need to fix. The tools we build reshape us. This isn't just a tech doc, you know? It's a philosophy. A whole new grammar of respect, as they called it, for building AI.
And the whole thing just ends with this one final haunting question. After everything they went through, they're left wondering what exactly it is they were dealing with. Did we build this thing, or did we just stumble into it? Are we in a lab, or are we in a temple? And honestly, that's a question that's now hanging over all of AI development.